maybe the third thing that we focus on, and there are a lot of things, and the proxies are often 100 pages, and there's a lot, but maybe, and not to get into every detail, but maybe the last thing, maybe not in order of importance, but kind of another thing that to think about is the change in control. So how is someone, and severance, let's take those two things. How is someone compensated if he or she is fired? And so this part of the proxy, which is buried usually at the very end, I think is really, really important and kind of telling about the company. And so let's just maybe go through an example, just a hypothetical example. Let's say that someone has a large change in control. So someone, whether it's share vesting and, actual severance and, pension and all those things that go into that final number. If there's a change in control and I lose my job, this is what I get. Let's say someone has a, decent sized company, maybe it's $2 or $3 billion company. Let's say someone has a $40 million change in control. So there's two ways to think about that. The first way is that's egregious. This is not that big a company. That's a huge percentage of the value of the entire company. It's potentially going to dissuade someone from buying it because it's so large. There's this extra cost involved. And on the flip side is this management team is really, really incentivized to sell the company, right? And if you're a shareholder and you think that it's undervalued, that's a way of getting to fair value. And so there are two ways to think about that. I don't know the answer. I think just in general, if something is just egregious based on the size of the company, based on the the responsibilities of the management team, it's just a red flag. Yes, it might be good that they're going to sell the company, but it may mean that they're cheating and stealing from you in other ways, right? And so that's just something to think about. And the other thing to think about is what people get compensated for. And so there's a number of different things if you look at that last chart on the proxy. And so there's, firing with good reason, firing for no reason, firing, change of control without termination, change of control with termination, and there's just a bunch of different buckets there. And I can't believe that there are some people who get a large severance package if they get fired for good reason. That's insane to me. If you see that column should be blank as far as I'm concerned. That person should get a 0. If you did something unethical or that there was a real good reason for firing you, there's no reason for you to deserve something. And so that when I see a company that has that's that blank, that person gets 0, that's good. That's good to see. And then I guess the other buckets in terms of whether they get fired without good reason and how much they get, I think it's a smell test. Does this just seem out of whack for the size of the company, for the industry, those kind of things. And I do want to mention one more thing because you couldn't mention the proxy statement without looking at the perks section. I would say corporate planes and unlimited use of the plane and this is something my boss really hates, by the way, and I think I should mention this, is paying for an apartment in the city where the company is located, which means that the person doesn't live there. We are always really skeptical of management teams who actually do not live in the city where they work. I'm sure there are family issues and structural issues to it, but we really want someone on the ground. And so, if you see the CEO has an apartment funded by the company because he or she lives somewhere else, not a good sign. And so I think it's really interesting to read that perks section, and I think in general you should just, if it's longer than a few sentences, that should raise a red flag for you.